WhatsApp announces a new major privacy policy updates. Facebook pages get new features and options. YouTube releases success tips for 2021 from its star content creators. All this and much more coming up in our weekly edition of the Connected Church News. Welcome. I'm Natchi Lazarus, and this is the show that brings you the top 5 digital and social media news in 5 minutes. Let's get started. Our first big news of this week is from Facebook. Facebook announced last week that they are bringing new changes to the pages. Facebook pages has almost been the same for many years now. Not much of changes, but now Facebook is starting to rethink the way pages work for organizations. And as a ministry, I would like you to pay attention to two of the important things that Facebook announced. One is about page followers. The announcement says we are removing page likes and focusing on followers. So I don't know whether many of you noticed that there are two things, likes and followers. They've been popping up prominently for the last few months, a couple of years actually. And if you wondered what they are, followers are people who actually want to receive updates from that particular page. Likes are just people who have clicked the like button. So go back and check your ministry page, how many followers you have, because that is where Facebook is going to focus as you go along. The other interesting feature is Q&A. Facebook released a new text-based Q&A format. I will link to all these details in the show notes. Do check it out. Hey, I just wanted to take a minute to encourage you to subscribe to us if you have not done so already, so that you do not miss any news updates. Thank you. Now let's get back to our news item. Our next big news of this week is from WhatsApp. Last week, WhatsApp made a major announcement about its changes in the privacy policy. Now, this is slightly more serious and different from the announcements of change that they have made earlier. In the sense, this comes with a mandatory acceptance terms along with a deadline. So there is a specific date before which you need to accept in order to continue using the app. So do check it out. There has been lots of discussions, and there people like VIP influencers have spoken out against this terms, saying that it's a compromise on privacy, and they have encouraged people to move to other apps like Signal and Telegram and so on. But I also want you to think about the integration aspect of it. This announcement centers around Facebook's idea of integrating Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp, because these are the three major messenger platforms that they have. And this particular terms and privacy policy allows them to integrate tightly with this ecosystem. So that is also something you might want to take note of, and also check how this is going to impact your ministry communications in the days to come. Our next news is an interesting one from Twitter. Twitter has acquired a new podcast listening app called Breaker. As you know, Twitter has been moving towards the audio space for quite some time now, but now they have acquired this audio podcast listening platform, further going deeper into the audio content space. I wanted to bring this to your notice because some of you might have heard about Clubhouse, one of the new apps that has really taken the social media space by storm, going on top of the App Store downloads and so on. And this audio space is evolving in a very interesting manner. And you as nonprofits or churches or ministries, for us, audio content is very important, right? We are audio and words-based ministry, and so this is a space that we need to watch out for very closely and see how this impacts people's consumption and the way people are influenced by audio content. Something to watch out for. Our next news is from YouTube. Last week, YouTube released success tips for 2021. And these are tips that are coming from the successful content creators inside the platform. So I highly recommend you check it out, because it has some very interesting suggestions by these people who have created a big impact in 2020. And this includes very practical suggestions like how to start your video, how to engage with people, how to comment, and so on. As ministries, YouTube is starting to become one of the major influential platforms for helping and serving and ministering to people. So I highly recommend you focus on YouTube and also check out these tips from successful content creators. Our final news of this week is about Apple and the upcoming changes that are coming to iPhone's privacy settings. This is about a feature called IDFA, which is basically a tracking ID inside all phones. And now Apple is saying when people switch on a particular app, it is going to start popping up prompts that tells the user how their activity is being tracked, and they get more control over saying whether they want to be tracked or not. Now, companies like Facebook and Snap are all concerned about this, and Facebook has actually been releasing ads, and you might have seen pop-ups on various business manager and so on saying this is going to impact advertising, and therefore it's going to impact businesses and organizations reach and so on. So it's a very interesting conversation. It's a very interesting topic on how this is going to change the landscape, and it also brings you and me to the question as churches and ministries as to how do we reach people in the days to come, and how do we use advertising, and what is privacy, how do we balance between privacy and reaching more people. So I will link to multiple articles that can give you clarity. Do check it out. That's all I have for you this week, but you can continue your learning by visiting this playlist that has questions and answers about digital and social media for churches, ministries, and nonprofits.